Silver and gold are appreciating assets. Now, I don't mean to bore you guys with obvious truths, but I would like to break down the various different aspects that cause silver and gold to appreciate in value. One of the biggest contributing factors to the spot price for silver and gold increasing over time is going to be inflation. But there's plenty of times where I read this statement online that metals prices are going up simply because the dollar is going down. And while that is true, I don't think it's the whole truth. There are many other aspects that push up the prices of metals, so if you're someone who's deciding whether or not you want to start stacking, you may want to watch this video because I'm going to break down a few of the reasons as to why silver and gold is more than just a hedge against inflation. So today, without further ado, let's break down why silver and gold ownership might just be a bit more significant than a method of preserving wealth. Let's get into it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe as we push hard for 7,000 subs. Thank you all for joining me today. We just passed the 6,000 subscriber milestone, and I can't wait to see that big 5-digit number of 10,000 subs. That's what I'm pushing for. I want to be there by February of 2026. The United States left the gold standard in 1971, and then in 1972, the average annual price of 1 ounce of gold was about 58 bucks. And whenever we adjust for inflation, $58 in 1972 is worth roughly $445 here today in 2025. But if we take a quick look over at the spot price of gold, gold is nowhere near $445. Rather, we should go ahead and add a zero to that number because that's closer to the reality of $4,000 gold that we happen to be seeing in the markets today. The nominal price of gold has increased dramatically since 1972, so if you compare it to what $58 could buy back then, it's pretty clear that gold has significantly outpaced inflation by a very wide margin. And silver is no different. In 1972, the average spot price was roughly around $1.68 per ounce. $1 in 1972 is worth roughly $7.70 today, and as we can see, silver's valued quite a bit higher than $7.70 and has been for some time now. So silver is no different. It also outperforms inflation by a significant margin, but the common sentiment is that the dollar goes down and that causes metals to go up, which is very true, but it's not the whole truth. There are several other factors that push up the prices to where they're supposed to be over time. And it's my personal opinion that all of the metals are still significantly undervalued. I'm not a metals pumper, but I do believe $50 silver is very, very cheap, and I think $4,000 gold is very, very cheap. Now, silver and gold can be a little bit tricky when assessing its value and its performance at any given time. It's tricky because metals tend to stagnate and move sideways for years on end. Let's take the 1990s, for example. 1990, average price 411, 1991, 400, 1992, 368, 1993, 392, 1994, 411, 1995, 404, 1996, 384, 1997, 323, 1998, 293, and 1999, 289. So, metals can move sideways for significant periods of time. So that can make viewing silver and gold as an efficient method of savings, of wealth preservation, a tricky thing to do, because during those periods, looking at precious metals as a viable method of preserving wealth can seem pretty grim. But I've said it before and I'll say it again, the truth always comes out. Metals are manipulated, lies are told, the price is pushed down and suppressed for significant periods of time, but ultimately the truth comes out no matter what. And that's simply because the intrinsic value of precious metals is undeniable. But with that small bit of confusion and doubt out of the way, aside from stagnant market conditions for the metals, let's break down some reasons as to why silver and gold is so valuable why I personally feel it is still undervalued and underpriced, and why it continues to defy the idea of it being just a wealth preserver. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of what is pushing these metals so high. We're not going to include inflation. Everybody understands that already. And one of these reasons, specifically for gold, is going to be central bank buying. Whenever central banks make a significant or consistent purchase and increase their gold reserves, it causes demand to rise, which pushes prices up. Central banks and government economies like to have some type of rock-solid backing to serve as a security behind their monetary activity. It helps bolster the trust between financial institutions because it is intrinsically valuable on its own. This next reason is rather obvious, but gold and silver are safe haven assets, so during times of wars or conflicts, terrorism, pandemics, political unrest, whatever it happens to be, 1 ounce of silver and 1 ounce of gold will always be 1 ounce of silver and 1 ounce of gold. It is a constant. And given that silver and gold is quite literally a rock-solid form of value, during times of unrest, money flows into them, resulting in the price to be pushed upwards. And moving forward, another reason that the prices of metals continue to push higher and higher is a pretty interesting one. It's going to be where interest rates happen to be at any given time. Whenever real interest rates are low, gold becomes more attractive as a non-yielding asset because low interest rates make cash and bonds unattractive. And whenever interest rates are low, abundant printing of fiat currency sometimes accompanies that, which as a result pushes the prices of gold up higher because it's an excellent place to put monetary value without the worry of inflation devaluing it. Another thing that silver and gold provide is a sense of stability. There's no counterparty risk involved in the metals. There are no job reports or earning reports or the need to compete with another metal for silver and gold to continue being viewed as valuable. So whenever markets are extremely volatile, or there is a recession or a market correction, or perhaps a giant tech bubble looming on the future horizon, stable assets, true value like silver and gold prosper. And the final reason that I'm going to present today is probably the most important one. It's a reason that has an interesting level of polarity inside of it, but let me explain. The overarching theme of all of the reasons that I listed earlier have an element of trust blended in with them. There is a significant amount of value in trust. And trust between governments, one country to another, trust between a single government and its people is at an all-time low. We don't know what the future holds, but we don't necessarily feel very, very good about it. This results in a ton of speculative demand between big players and small ones. In my opinion, market psychology is more prevalent now than it ever has been in today's markets. Gone are the days of being able to just throw money into the markets on a broad index fund and being met with consistent 10% returns year over year without the fear of a market correction or crash. I think those days are somewhat behind us. So as a result, we've got two opposing forces pushing up the prices of metals. We've got the trust that we have in the metals derived from the true intrinsic value we know that they have, and we also have fear. We have fear of where the world is headed socially, economically, politically, which has resulted in a lot of uncertainty. So we've got trust and fear compounded together on top of the fact that these metals are of finite supply. They can't be printed. They're not fiat. There's only so much of it in the world, and they've been viewed as stores of value and currency for thousands of years. And those two aspects, trust and fear compounded together, in my opinion, is significantly more important and more powerful than inflation could ever be. It's happened a ton of times in the past. It's happened over and over in history. Fiat currencies were born, lived, and died, and what breached that gap during economical downturns and crashes and famines? What got us over to the other side? And it's going to be silver and gold. Fear is what causes mass markets to buy, and trust is what causes stackers to hold. And that, ladies and gentlemen, in my personal opinion, not financial advice, is what makes silver and gold so special. It should be all over the news. There should be mainstream attention on it. It should have the brightest spotlight ever placed on it right now and in general throughout history, but it's simply doesn't. I do believe silver is headed towards $75 an ounce over the next 18 months, and I think $5,000 gold is something that we could very likely see at some point in 2026. We did just experience a pretty significant dip. Silver dipped roughly $4 this morning, and gold dipped about $200. In my opinion, this is clear, blatant manipulation by the big players, but it doesn't matter to me. That's just a buying opportunity. I get to pick up more metals on a discount, and I know that at the end of the day, the truth will always come out. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think about this topic down below in the comments. Is silver and gold's price appreciation just a result of inflation, or is there a little bit more behind the scenes? Stay safe out there, everybody. Keep stacking. Peace.